200 episodes of Fitness Business Podcast. This is going to be a ripper. Meet Sue Richard. She'll train your tribe. New Zealand has ideas with a small group vibe. In Mark Fisher's episode, great ideas were born. He gets straight to the point like a unicorn. Jim Worthington is up on Capitol Hill. Politics is his shtick, helping pass the Fit bill. Up next, Alan Leach with the digital business. He'll promote fitness while he's drinking a Guinness. Need a great culture? Then here's the plan. Listen to Jan Spatakia because he's the man. The legend Brent Darden spreads the word. Inspect what you expect and cull the herd. If you need to get social, she's here to greet ya. Marissa Hoff is the queen of social media. Blair McCaney's up next in the rotation. Need something new? He's for you. He's the king of innovation.
This Business Podcast. We appreciate what you do. With your top-notch guests and your great content, there's always something new. 200 episodes. You have a fan base that's up like glue. You educate our industry, so for that we say thank you.
Casey Conrad takes it off the rails. She'll never fail to put more wind in your sail. Mark Miller runs Merit and is a friend of me. He teaches us how to learn from other industries. Derek Gallup, here for your review. Giddy up, he lit it up, talking about revenue. Rick Carroll is swell, he was born to sell. Need tips, take his, and your sales will excel. Lindsay Rainwater is a pioneer, you see, running WIFA, uniting women in our industry. Meet Paul Brown with an Aussie twang. He keeps guests coming back like a boomerang. Trina Gray can manage with the best of them. Sorry, Trina, but Ohio State's better than Michigan. Luke Carlson next. What is he about? Ideas are worthless, actions paramount. Allison flatly taught 6-day success. Follow her lead and succeed without the stress. Kate Golden's training sessions are 24 karat. She's got the strategies, and we're so glad that she shared it. Matt Wright inked up head to toe with the tats. Pro development tips that will never fall flat.
Fitness Business Podcast. We appreciate what you do. With your top-notch guests and your great content, there's always something new. 200 episodes. You've got a fan base that's up like glue. You educate our industry, so for that we say thank you.
Emmett Williams from My Zone. You better get your maps or he won't leave you alone. Learn business strategy from Bill McBride. I'm his youngest best friend, and I'll say that with pride. Adriana T was gonna change the game. Group training sessions and a cool-ass name. Mo Hagan's next, and she has a lot to say. She's Canadian, so her podcast grade is A. Brian O'Rourke, a technology master. He'll save you from disaster, make your business run faster. Michael Pierce, he taught us all about unity. It's not just fitness, it's impacting your community. Finally, Paul Bedford will show you what to do. He's the king of the craft, he's the retention guru. Chantel and Justin, we thank you wholehearted. 200 episodes and you're just getting started.
Fitness Business Podcast. We appreciate what you do. With your top-notch guests and your great content, there is always something new. 200 episodes. You have a fan base that's up like glue. You educate our industry, so for that we say thank you.
On the real though, here's to 200 great episodes, and here's to the next 200. You guys rock, but you may want to consider something. What about an episode on high net promoter scores, or one on how to upsell fitness services to increase revenue? Oh, wait a minute, you already did those. You did it with me. Power Ranger, out.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard the incredible freestyle rapping talents of the one and only Chris Stevenson, owner of Stevenson Fitness, dear friend of the show, and our guest on episodes 110 and 113. I got to tell you, JT and I were totally blown away when we received this gift from Chris. So I just want to say an absolutely huge thank you from all of us here on the show. And I know that many of you out there know Chris, so do me a huge favor, send him a quick shout out on social media. Tell him that you heard his incredible rap on the Fitness Business Podcast, and tell him that he's an absolute superstar. Welcome along to the industry's leading business podcast for fitness owners and managers. Each week, we invite business experts, coaches, authors, and owners from right across the world to share their expert advice with you, the FBP family. This month's interviews are brought to you by our podcast partner, MyZone. MyZone is the wearable technology that enhances paid programming and drives customer engagement. To find out more, go to myzone.org. Hi everyone and welcome along to the show. This week's special guest is Paul Bowman, the CEO of Wexer. Wexer creates virtual digital fitness solutions to make world-class group fitness exercise more accessible. With extensive experience in the fitness industry and over 4 years as the CEO of Wexer, I wanted to get Paul's insights into virtual fitness, where it is today and how club owners can use virtual to benefit their facility and their members. So during this week's interview, you'll hear what it means to be a digitally transformed club. We discuss the advantages for club owners introducing virtual fitness into their facility. Paul helps us understand what virtual looks like in a club and how much you would expect to pay for install and for content. He shares his thoughts on the key to engaging with non-exercisers. And to finish off today, Paul talks us through his digital fitness predictions for the future. Now, before we transition into this week's interview, I have a special holiday gift for you all. This is the last of our regular weekly shows for 2018, but between Christmas and New Year, we actually have 4 special episodes coming your way. They are the Motion Soft Technology series, and they feature Raj Serene from Staiku, Francesca Schuler from InShape, Candace Sweet from Crunch, and Ryan Mezans from Anytime Fitness. So make sure that you listen out for those episodes that will be coming your way for 4 consecutive days starting December 27th. Then, really importantly, make sure that you tune back into the show from January the 9th, 2019, when our normal weekly episodes return and our special guest for 2019, the very first one for the start of the year, will be Anne-Marie Babor from Soul Body. Now, we are about to transition into my interview with Paul Bowman, but first, here's a message from our podcast partner. MyZone is a wearable technology platform that leverages personal goal setting, gamification, and social platforms to motivate your members. Learn more at myzone.org. Enjoy this week's interview with our special guest, Paul Bowman. Paul, welcome and thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Great to be here.
Now, technology and digital innovation has been a popular topic on the show over the last couple of months, and it's obviously a space that you work in every single day. Can you tell us what it means to be a digitally transformed club?
Yeah, it's a broad old topic, isn't it? So for us and our, again, it's opinion based for us and myself. It's, digitally transformed health club is essentially a seamless integration of digital and physical contact with the member 24/7. So it's about, essentially, we believe that fitness today must be on demand inside and outside of the gym. And this is essentially what a digitally transformed club is able to deliver. But, it all comes down to, it's just making our product easier to consume. So, if, for example, if they can't attend a physical class because of work commitments, intimidation factors, let's make sure that they've still got an on-demand class. If they can't do a workout and they need inspiration, let's make sure that they can do a workout generator and be able to do that on the park. So it's just making sure that brand presence is physical and mobile, but always connected and integrated seamlessly.
So what have you found have been the biggest advantages then for the club owners who have actually introduced digital into their facilities?
I think it's a way of thinking, but I really want to make the point on the podcast is that being a digitally transformed it isn't about abandoning bricks and mortar. It's about taking ownership of the digital space as well as the physical one. It's about choice and convenience for the user, and we've got to put our member hat on here rather than our operator's hat. And it's about being relevant to every single member, every potential end user, by harnessing all the delivery channels that they choose to use, which essentially is through their mobile phone right now. So the mobile phone, it kind of becomes the key to delivering a digital experience. And that's great because it's it's a device that people are already comfortable with and using to run their whole lives. But I think it's for us as an industry, we also need to think of it as a portal through which many can access fitness content, and we have to meet our users where they're currently engaging with digital fitness. So essentially it's about making sure that when an operator, so when you go into the club, they have content to be able to use. If the physical experience is not there, and just to understand my way of thinking and Wexer's way of thinking is, we know we benefit the live offering because we essentially grow the pool of people that are engaging with particular activities. And, we always think that is the absolute hub. The physical delivery you can't beat. We've been delivering that for years. But the issue is, how do we get them all to that point? So, and we know that that's where digital comes in. So you need to have a digital presence within your club, if that's, on the gym floor, if that's in your studios, to ensure that they've got access to high quality content all the time. And then, of course, also in their pockets. So, even before they start to engage with a brand, they're engaging with the value that the brand already creates.
From conversations that I've had with other people in this area, they've said to me that quite often the virtual streaming classes are used as a really great way to give members a bit of a taste of classes, or even to, I guess, bring new members into understanding what a class is all about, give them a bit of a trial, if you like. Have you found that to be the case as well?
Correct. And it kind of goes full circle. So, we see an intimidated user, and I think that's where virtual really, from a usership point of view, kicked off, because the intimidated user would go in, be a little bit overwhelmed. If you think about your first experience into any club, it's a pretty intimidating experience. But if we can break that down through, clear design on an interface, being able to choose a clear content title that they might know, because these celebrities that we've got on our platform have far-reaching ability, they can trial that, get comfortable with that, and then move through confidence. So all of our research shows essentially is that, the more confident the user is, the more that they'll use the physical live products. But again, it's how we get them there. So, the kind of the people that want to be handheld, that's where technology comes in so well. And I think that's where, the digital fitness operators that are, they're out there, like the Sweat with Kyla, Beachbody, all these, they know that, if you talk to a content partner, now from our point of view, their biggest threat is people drop off their services to go into gyms. And then they go back into their products when they leave gyms. But that's the thing that we see is that, essentially we want the clubs to be able to take that entire journey. So they're offering that content which is available to them to offer right from the couch, so to speak, so they can download, let's say, a Fitness First app and automatically get that content. And then that same content is then on the screens in the club, again, breaking down the intimidation factor. And then they'll get more confident, and then they'll go into the full physical live delivery. And, that's how we see the kind of perfect mix happening.
Paul, when I think about virtual classes, in my head, the visual is a studio with a screen in the studio and having one or many people participating in that class. But a few times during our chat already, you've mentioned mobile devices. So just for anyone that isn't familiar, perhaps they haven't experienced virtual before, what you're saying to us is that pretty much any device can carry this content. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so from a Wexer standpoint, we've got every single device. We're meeting the consumers where they are. So if that's on web, if that's on mobile, if that's on any screen technology. So essentially wherever there's a screen, Wexer can support the delivery of content.
Do you have any data around the most popular form of device where people would consume, or is that too broad to measure at the moment?
It's really broad, and it's so subjective to a particular operator. So, for an operator, they might have a strategy where it's only mind and body. So of course the usage is all going to be mind and body. So, but that's the kind of unique thing, is you can tailor it to where you are and how you're being positioned. So if you're positioning yourself as, a high intensity studio, well, great. Then curate the content to be able to only deliver that. So it's as broad as you want, but also as flexible as you want as well.
Well, if we were to think of ourselves as a studio owner who decided that they did want to embark on putting virtual into their club, can you give us a bit of an idea, maybe paint us a picture of, first of all, what would that potentially look like, and how much would that investment be, roughly?
Yeah. So look, it's essential. So it's starting with investment. All you need is screens. So what we're seeing is people are going from simple projector screens, projector screen and a projector, to a full-blown LED wall. So that, of course, carries different costs. And then you've got a player that sits outside the studio, which is really the control device. And then that hooks into the current speaker system that the operators have. So, and really from a cost point of view, it ranges, from anything from 8,000 as kind of, I would say, the minimum kind of package, to right up to over 100,000. And I think why people are spending more and more, and I don't know if you've seen, but we've definitely seen it, is that people are constantly redoing their studios, especially their virtual studios, because it directly correlates to usage. Some of the usage figures for studios that have spent maybe over that kind of 50,000 USD marker, they're by and large taking over 15% of their swipes into these virtual studios. So the experience has to relate to the brand. The example that we always give is you can't have a premium brand but then do a very, very cheap install. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't correlate to the end user. So from a cost point of view, it can range. But what we're always saying is tailor it to what your brand is representing and how it should look and feel.
And those cost examples that you just gave us, that I assume is for the hardware and the setup. Is there then, if a club owner then wanted to have an ongoing content streamed into their studio, does that then become a monthly subscription fee, or is it sold as packages? How's that done?
No, you're spot on. I should have mentioned that at the start. It's an ongoing monthly fee. So that fee ranges from anywhere from 99 USD to 200 USD. It all depends on what content you have, how you're executing it. So, for example, we have operators that are actually just doing their own content, which we are just the platform that supports them. And then you've got people that are using our entire content library, and the fee for most of our services is around about 199 USD per month.
Right. So often when we're talking about that kind of crossover between fitness and tech, the name Peleton often comes into the conversation. I'm sure you've found the same thing. It's a brand that a lot of people are aware of, and obviously they're quite innovative in the space that they're in. In your experience, Paul, what lessons can club operators learn from a business like Peleton?
I think for us, I know the Peleton guys quite well, is that they just showed if you make it easy for the consumer to consume exercise, they will purchase. And doing that delivery through, of course, the bike and then live streaming totally makes sense. We launched essentially a live streaming abilities for operators to take, and the adoption was really, really slow because it was, okay, how do we as operators train our people to be able to deliver to camera, which is the easiest said than done. It's the overall execution strategy. So I think going back to the question though, is essentially Peleton kind of showed us that, by taking essentially what we deliver every single day, but making that easy to consume through technology and especially using it through live streaming, there was another revenue option there. So, I don't believe people are just buying the bike. I think people are buying, or I know that people are buying it for the live streaming. And it's something that operators just need to think about in regards to, well, actually, they're creating great content day in and day out, but they're only kind of capturing that within the four walls of the club. Maybe, maybe I can only serve 50 people, where actually 300 or 400 people want to actually take or consume that class. So why not, through the use of technology, stream that great talent and give that option to, one, create more revenue as an operator, but two, satisfy the users where they want to consume that content.
You raise a really good point, Paul, because, we're talking about delivering fitness within a studio. That's the example that we're talking about. But in reality, one of the biggest challenges that we face in the fitness industry is reaching those non-exercisers, reaching people that aren't even in our clubs. In your opinion, what do you think that the key is to sort of encouraging and engaging with that group? Because I know it's a huge percentage of people that are inactive. In your opinion, what do you think we can do to actually get them moving and get them to consume fitness on a regular basis?
Yeah, like we've done study after study, and as I mentioned earlier, it's all about how we drive people through confidence. And their confidence could be completely shot. They could be completely intimidated by the gym industry. So the gym industry is not going to be able to capture that person. But we know, if you took the survey off the street and said, okay, how many, there was a survey done essentially every 100 people that you interview, 79% of them will have a fitness goal. But of course, we're only seeing, 12 to 15% of people have gym memberships. And that's where the digital fitness, the truly digital fitness operators know well. And that's what they're targeting to ensure that they're easy to consume. They can, talk to them directly on the couch and give them a snippet of what they do in a really, really unintimidating fashion. And, so because we're in a great position where we kind of see those both worlds. And so if you think about that user journey in regards to, okay, let's say Beachbody was able to take someone that was really unconfident to do videos at home. But then there's no linkage to the physical because, of course, Beachbody doesn't have clubs, but, of course, the gym industry does. So that's what we're kind of always arguing is if we really want to penetrate that huge pot of people that are essentially are too unconfident to actually use gym facilities, let's meet them with where they are with our brand, and then ensure that we're tailoring, we're personalizing that journey as much as we possibly can, and then slowly layering their confidence into the physical experience. And we've had operators look at it as, okay, let's just hit them with a guest pass as soon as possible. Well, it's the worst thing you can do. We need to make sure that they're using value on the technology. They're running workouts. They're streaming content, and then at a certain point, that's when you engage them to try out the club. Ensure that club, that mobile to virtual or screens in the club experience is reasonably consistent, and that's where a lot of operators are looking at creating their own content, so it is completely consistent. And then keep building their confidence to go right through to what we do amazingly, which is deliver amazing physical classes day in and day out.
You just brought up something which was club operators, now starting to produce their own content. And I know that we're seeing more and more of that. And, when I think about virtual and I've personally been involved in virtual, creating classes for a number of years now. So there really is those two different deliveries, isn't there? There's the pre-made sort of content classes, and then there's the make your own type of variety. And from my understanding, Paul, I believe that now, just recently actually, Wexer has announced a partnership with two of the largest group of clubs in Europe. So can you tell us just a little bit about those partners, and also tell us what you think club operators worldwide can learn from this partnership that you've got into?
I understand. So the two operators that we have partnered with in a significant manner is Basic Fit and Mixed Fit, which are the two largest operators in Europe. And essentially, the vision that I'm presenting in regards to meeting people on the couch, build their confidence and consistently build them into the physical experience. They needed to have the quality control of content, and they wanted to have that control. So, both of them have invested significantly into their own production studios. They also have the ability to live stream as well in time, but they currently, creating at least over 30 titles per month for their users, both in mobile technology and in their screen technology in their clubs. So, and again, that whole piece is to be able to control that journey and truly try and impact the users that haven't been to clubs before, and try and bring them into either a Basic Fit or Mixed Fit. And both of them are succeeding significantly in doing so from a usage point of view within their clubs, but also, attracting people that have never ever been members before.
That's phenomenal. I would love to hear more about that as the partnership continues, Paul, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of press around that. So, look, to finish off with today, can you share with us 3 things that you believe that we will see in the digital fitness space over the next couple of years?
So I guess our big bet, we do this quite often in Wexer, is that we believe in hyper personalization of how we consume products or services. We just have to look at the other industries. recently just bought my entire groceries on Google Home, and it even recommended things that I'm running out of. And it's just like, wow, that technology has come a long way. But whereas we as a fitness industry, what are we doing to hyper-personalize our offering? And I think that, if I'm honest, I think we're actually getting beaten by the true digital fitness operators right now in regards to personalizing that experience. We've talked a lot about segmentation of the user and how you create a member journey for it, but that's so hard to deliver constant, relevant material all the time, and that's why we invest so heavily in our analytics systems, so we can actually understand those users, because we've got now tracking over 122 persona types, which originally when I was back in operators days, we only had 6 that we used to do. It's showing how different we all are, and I think we just have to expect that we're all different and engage in systems that have the flexibility to scale. So hyper-personalization is critical for me. Then the second big bet is live streaming. So I thought our industry would have kind of started executing this a little bit quicker, and it was a big bet for us probably about 3 years ago, but I think it's going to come to fruition definitely in the next 2 years. So operators actually using their content to start live streaming. We're seeing that more in the boutique space right now. Mm-hmm. And of course, Peleton is kind of proving it works as well. And then the kind of third thing for us is that, we believe that the future of customer service will be powered by artificial intelligence. So that meaning, the basic functions like reporting, dashboards, predictive, and then machine learning. So, I'm not saying that you're going to come into every single club and have a machine head welcome you, but I think smart clubs will be starting to use artificial intelligence to take out all those manual processes that they currently have in operations right now.
Wow, what an incredible future. And I just wanted to circle back to the first thing that you talked about, which was the persona types and data collection. And apologies for not knowing the answer to this question, but how do you collect that data?
So we've got our own proprietary system, and then we also work with a partner called Localytics that connects to both our screen technologies and our mobile technologies, and we've done that essentially so we can start understanding the predictive kind of behaviours. So as a way of example, we know if we're sending a workout to a female 30 to 35 that has said that she's a beginner, it's obvious, but we need to ensure that we don't go straight away into a Viper workout, or essentially we need to stay actually with equipment that's kind of less intimidating. So, for example, it sounds so ridiculously simple, but working on it, you start with a treadmill and then slowly build their confidence as you go through. So that's how our system can naturally progress you. Does that hopefully that makes some sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. And so what I'm trying to understand is, so if I'm a new club that decides to go down the route of taking on virtual fitness, basically, sure, I would gain access to get probably what I imagine is a more in-depth understanding of my members than perhaps I would have ordinarily.
Oh, totally. So we, essentially what we've got a lot of club groups doing now is connecting our data directly into their data science layer. But if, of course, you don't have a data science layer, you can just use our technology. So, we call it My Wexer, which essentially gives you all the data that you need in terms of how people are consuming our technology. But then you overlay that with particular, swipe technology or the rest of it. Like we recently just been working with partners to create a people counting system, because I've kind of always thought that it was mad that we're still relying on group exercise instructors to count their own numbers. So we
tell me about it. I do it every day.
Yeah, no, I can. So what we've done is essentially it's 99.4% reliable now. Essentially, the only flaw is you've got to make sure it's constantly updated and the camera's not moving. But so that's counting every single person. We're trying to move into technology where it can facially recognize, and then we can integrate that into the CRM. Because imagine if we have an overview that we actually know where that member is going all the time. That's where we can truly personalize that experience. Like we're we're doing things with beacons now based off, if they walk past our screen, that can automatically push a particular content title to them based off, the rules that we've put in place. So we know that works, but we really need to be able to understand where they're going and give them kind of real-time options. If that's, a dynamically priced PT option or if that's a particular content option. So what we're trying to always do is essentially get to a point where we're always giving them a physical option and essentially a digital option. So they can choose where they are from an intimidation scale. Imagine if we can get that right.
Honestly, I'm listening to all of this and just going, is incredible. And if I was a club owner right now, I would just want to, and I didn't already have virtual in my club, I just want more information. I want to know everything that I need to do to jump on this, because it really is progressing so rapidly. And thank you so much for taking the time to come on and share all of that information with the FBP family, Paul. So thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much. And please reach out to any of my team or myself directly if you want any more information.
Excellent. And we will, of course, put all of Paul's contact details and the details for Wexer in today's show notes. So that is all for today. Paul, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Chantal.
Gym Sales allows you to plan, implement, and monitor a proactive sales strategy that's automated and uniform. You can give your sales team the tools they need to capture, nurture, and convert new members, which means it's easier than ever before to grow your member base. Make sure you head over to gymsales.net to find out more information.
Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
This week's Pre-Core Quickfire 5 guest is the co-founder of Soulbody, Anne-Marie Babor. Anne-Marie, I am so excited to have you on the show. Welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Chantal. Thrilled to be here.
Let's kick things off with your Pre-Core Quickfire 5 and tell us, why do you do what you do?
Well, I've always had an incredible passion for fitness, wellness, eating healthy, the 360 degrees. So from that passion, I took it and created a business to help inspire through movement and build a team to help me do it. So it's never been a more exciting time to be in this fitness space.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And what's one ritual that helps you become better at what you do?
Well, not just reading Club Industry International or Club Solutions and listening to your podcast, but getting out there in the community, really experiencing it live, getting on mobile apps, checking out virtual, and just really getting into the experience of what's out there right now.
And what's one app or system that you use to stay in control of your workload?
So new to us. We're looking at Slack, all these cloud-based apps, Trello and Asana. So this is something really new to us to help us get our work done quicker and collaborate with our team.
And are there any books or podcasts or blogs that you'd recommend and why?
Of course. Always your podcast.
Thank you.
Of course. And Escape Your Limits I like with Matthew Janusek.
Yeah.
Also really like Rich Roll. I like How I Built This with Guy Raz. And I'm crazy with Audible. I'm walking my dog listening right now to Top of Mind by John Hall and Pitch Anything. A little crazy and out there by Oren Klaff, but a good listen.
Oh, I love how much you love learning, and I'm like you. I'm the Audible's on every time I'm out walking my dogs. It's one of the best times to learn, I think. And to give everyone a bit of an overview on the topic that we're going to be discussing during your main interview.
Yes. We're going to be talking about group fitness as retention strategy. We're going to talk about the Rockstar instructor, creating a community around virtual fitness, and just 3 tips on building an engaged group fitness community and the benefit of this active group fitness community of these enthusiasts that we now call groupers.
Well, I am super excited about your main interview because it's a topic that is very close to my heart. I know it's very close to yours. So, Anne-Marie, thank you for joining us for the Pre-Core Quickfire 5. I look forward to chatting to you in your main interview.
Me too, Chantal. Thank you.
Before we finish off today, one quick and very important announcement for everyone that is coming along to IRSA 2019. You are all invited to the FBP Family Meetup on Wednesday, March the 13th at 6 a.m. If you aren't familiar with our meetup walks, this is an interactive networking event. We will walk and we talk for 45 minutes and we return back to the main entrance at the Marriott Marquis San Diego Marina by 6:50 a.m. The meetup is totally free and it is the best way to start your day. Now, it's super important that we know how many people are coming along. So please just jump over really quickly right now to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, go to the top of the page and click on the tab called Meetup. Then register your details for the Ursa Walk. If you need any more information, just email me at chantal@fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Before we finish off today, a reminder that all the resources, the links, and a transcript for today's show can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. As we come to the end of yet another show, I want to thank our foundation partner, Active Management. Our most downloaded shows relate to lead generation. So Active Management have an awesome free checklist for improving what is possibly your most viewed page on your website. All you need to do is grab it at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active. Thank you for joining me for another week of the show. I'll see you next week. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.